Alright, I'm going to show you the impressive boot speed of Windows 8. I have a bunch of older hardware here. Windows 8 is on these two machines, and Windows 7 release candidate on here. And these are the developer versions. Okay, so here you can see the hardware specs and the very low performance rating it receives. Processor is running at 1.8 gigahertz. It's a single processor. This one's a dual core running at 1.9, and then these are two Intel Atom computers. This one has a hard drive, and this one has a solid state drive. However, it's an extremely slow solid state drive, much slower than today's hard drives. It's also very small, only 10 gigs, and after format, it's only giving me about 7.5 gigs of space. So Windows XP would take between a minute and a minute and a half just to boot to the login screen. I'm going to shut all these down. As you can see, they're being shut down, not going into sleep mode or hibernation. This is a fair test. One of the reasons why Windows 8 boots so fast now is because when it shuts down, it closes the user session, but it puts the kernel in hibernation. So it's a hybrid shutdown. Last one we're waiting on over here. Okay, it's done. So I'm going to be nice to Windows 7, and I'll turn this machine on first. It also has the longest post time, so that doesn't count. There we go. Windows 8 is done, and it's done on the slow SSD. Windows 7 is loading. Windows 8 is done. Very fast. So again, you can still see the SSD is the slowest here, but very impressive considering it would take 3 minutes to load up and finally reach the desktop and become usable with Windows XP. And of course, the performance was still very slow. And I'm receiving warnings here that Windows has expired, which makes sense because this is a very old release candidate of Windows 7. In a little bit, I'll be installing a fresh install of Windows 7 Service Pack 1 on this laptop so you can see the difference for yourself. And I'm going to install Windows 8 on this laptop so you can see that it's not like this is because of it being the slowest machine here. The slowest machine here is actually this netbook here, and it beat it by a long shot. Okay, I have the operating systems installed now. Windows 7 is running on the HP, and Windows 8 Developer Preview is now on the Gateway. I'm going to shut them down here, and we're going to have Erase booting up. Now the HP now does have an unfair advantage in that I upgraded the hard drive. This is for my sister. The reason why I had Windows 8 on it was because her hard drive had crashed, and I just threw in a temporary while we were waiting for the newer hard drive to arrive to experiment and see how well it ran. So now it has a 7200 RPM hard drive versus the 5400 when Windows 8 was installed, and they are both now shut down. So let's see who ends up winning. I turn the HP on first because it takes just a little bit longer to post in the gateway, and all that counts here is the Windows loading time, not the post. Alright, there we go. And you can see, even though the hard drive on the right is only a 4200 RPM, Windows 8 beat by a long shot Windows 7. And also the computer on the left has a dual-core 1.9 GHz processor versus just a solo 1.8 GHz on the right. Very impressive. And again, this isn't even beta software yet, it's pre-beta. So we'll see what happens. Now both of these installs are still very basic. I haven't installed any updates, no drivers, I haven't added any drivers, so they're still running on basic graphics. I'll make another video after I get them fully updated and have all the device drivers installed.